What's going on, H2O Army? Justin from H2O Plants, and today we're going to be talking about Buce, and this is a follow-up video to my first video on Bucephlandra. Stay tuned. So what's going on, guys? I wanted to quickly update the Buce video that I did, or Bucephlandra video that I did, which was Daily Trim episode number 1. You can go back and watch that if you really want to, but I'm going to kind of reiterate the same stuff that I mentioned in that video and give you kind of a little update on the Bucephlandra that I kept for myself, that I've been growing for the last couple months from my first shipment, and I wanted to kind of go into depth with it and give you guys more detail on it. So, real quick overview, Bucephlandra is a lot like Anubis. It doesn't need to be planted in a substrate. It could be attached to rocks, driftwood, or the stainless steel mesh, which I sell on my site. That these have suction cups. It allows them to attach to glass. There's many different kinds. And if I could get this off, here we go. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Okay. So, this is Bucephlandra. This is Magnum Blue, as you can see by the little name tag there. I keep them all tagged because there are probably over 100 different varieties of Buce. Maybe even more than that. There's new variations being found every day from where these things are native to. And they're native to a island off Indonesia, or in that area of the world. I forget the exact name. I think it's Bonaro, if I'm pronouncing that wrong, forgive me. But these plants are harvested in the wild off stream banks and river banks, and they're not completely submerged. They're just moist. They're wet, and they don't stay under the water. So a lot of places online right now that sell Bucephlandra, they're gonna sell you immersed growth. They may claim that it's not, but it's gonna be immersed growth. The reason for that is, if you can clearly see that right there, that blue leaf, these blue leaves, right? Those are a lot different than these green leaves, right? And these green leaves right here are the original leaves that came on the plant when I first got this in. This was the very first leaf or leaves that were shown on this plant. But now you're getting these blue leaves, and I'm getting some red and yellow leaves there, right here. So, a lot of people claim that they're selling you submerged form of it, which is completely untrue because it takes months for these to transition. And if I was to try and sell these completely submerged, it would just take months, and the price for these would be a lot more expensive. Now, you may say, well, why am I going to buy a plant that's just going to melt? Well, most aquarium plants in the hobby are going to melt anyway when they go into your tank. But these are a hardy plant like Anubis. They don't need a whole lot of light. They don't need CO2. They don't need really any special care other than not to be buried in the substrate like Anubis doesn't like. And they will grow. You're going to shed all of its leaves. All the old leaves will shed off, but you're going to get a nice new beautiful growth. And this one actually just came unattached by accident because I was messing around with it. So there we go, now it's stuck back in there. But yeah, so what I do though is I just stick the plant in here the way it is when I first get it in, let it mellow out, let it get used to its new conditions, and let it start growing new leaves, right? It's gonna take probably about 2 months before you see any you'll probably see new growth within the first couple weeks, but it'll be very small. And probably within the first 2 months, you'll actually start seeing bigger leaves. These have been in here about 2 or 3 months now. And they are finally developing the bigger leaves and looking quite nice. So stick it in your tank, leave it be, let it get adjusted for a couple weeks, and then once it gets adjusted, you start peeling back the old leaves. So you'll take the old leaf, and usually what'll happen is the old leaves should start developing algae on them. When they're really no good anymore, they'll get some sort of algae, either blackbeard or something else. And when you see that, like there's a tiny bit of algae, you probably can't see it here. Let me see if I zoom in. Can you see? You can see those little filaments right there hanging off this leaf. That's a type of algae, I forget which one it is, but basically once you start seeing that, you just take this and you pluck the leaf off down at the base of the rhizome. And boom, there you go. So this leaf was gonna melt anyway, so I'm gonna pluck it, and I already see new leaves, so there's no reason for that to stay on. But Bucephlandra is a beautiful plant and should definitely be something that you're interested in really any tank, because it's super easy for beginners and it's super colorful. Let's look at some other variations here. So that right there is black marble, and you can see that the leaves are like a red purple color. Absolutely stunning and beautiful to look at, but it grows very slow, so it's going to take some time for everything to adjust. Let's look at some deep purple now, and there is some deep purple for you. Zoom in here and you can see the leaves. The leaves are a little, like, they're blue. I wouldn't say they're purple. I don't know why it's called deep purple, but they're more blue than purple, I'd say, but I guess you could argue it, and it looks like purple. But the names really don't mean anything. Just because it says deep purple doesn't mean they're gonna get purple. It's just the way they name these things. There are rarer forms of it, like I got Pink Lady, which is a bit different. So this is actually the Pink Lady that I got in, and what you can see here, this actually just came in 2 weeks ago. So you could see here, these are the old leaves, these green ones. These are gonna die out eventually, but what I'm left with right now is this beautiful pink color one, or light blue, light pink. This one right here. A lot different than the other leaves. And that's what I'm talking about. So that's gonna be a whole new beautiful plant with new leaves popping up, and it's gonna completely change color and leaf form. So just because you get a small leaf variation of Boost doesn't mean it may stay small. It may get big when it's grown in the water, and vice versa. So keep that in mind. But that is it on Bucephlandra, guys. I hope you enjoyed the follow-up video. Let me know what else you would like to see in the comments below, as well as give it a like. Well, smash that like button as always, and subscribe if you're new. And if you haven't hit the alert button, make sure you hit the alert button, the little bell icon, so that way you could stay up to date with all my videos. We release them daily. Guys, I hope you enjoyed. I will see you on the next one.